society today. Even though we say it's still there, we're missing it, and that's love. If you could speak to love.
I can't say enough about love. That is my favorite word. I would say besides my name, love is it. Because love is so powerful. And people use it so loosely.
We do.
You want to really focus in on the things that you love and really analyze, what does love truly, truly mean to you? To say, I love myself. You really have to believe it. You really have to live on it. You really have to, hey, if you love yourself, do what's best for yourself. That word, in so many different ways that I'm like looking at it, because it's really a word that you really want to value. And
hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you as we navigate through the clouds of life, empowering one another. Listen, I hope everybody's having a great day. We have a very, very special guest with us on today. We have the one and only CEO and founder of Sincerely Emotional, Joy Easterling. How are you, Joy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I practiced that too. I practiced your name for a minute, so I didn't have any mistakes or anything. So this is amazing, and I want to tell you again, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here on the Ross Cloud Podcast. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, when Charles sent this over to me, I automatically goes to everybody's Instagram page. Just kind of see what they're doing, see what they're about. And you, ma'am, you're absolutely amazing. Like a lot of the things that you have your hands into, and you just stay busy.
I do.
And I think that's wonderful that you stay busy. That's good. Keeps you occupied too.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit. I tell you what, we're going to take the folks on the journey, Joy. Let's start from there. Where you from, Joy?
I am from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Come on, not Fayette, no.
I am. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Represent.
Okay. I love it. Military?
My father is retired Air Force.
All right.
My brothers, I have two brothers who served in the Navy. One served in the Air Force, and then I have a nephew that also served in the Navy.
Awesome. So you've just been around military pretty much kind of all your life then, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's awesome. What was life like for you in Fayetteville?
Life was really good. I went to, I graduated from E.E. Smith High School, which is the best high school in, I think, North Carolina.
I love it.
And so it was, to me, just the typical family lifestyle.
Sure.
Both of my parents in the household. And even though it's five of us, I have five siblings, but the last three of us were in the house together. My other two brothers, they were older, so that's when they joined the military.
Okay, I understand. I get it. Did you play sports? Or
I did. I was a cheerleader.
How did I know that?
Cheerleader.
How did I know that?
I was. It's just in me to just stay motivated and motivate others. Yes, definitely a cheerleader.
Awesome.
I was not only a cheerleader for middle school, high school, but I was also on a competitive cheerleading team.
Okay, I love that. Would you say that was a part of helping you, help groom you in who you are today, in a sense?
I would say yes.
Some of those skills
just
that you got
staying
from that.
positive and just motivating others is just so important to me. Cheering each other on and pushing each other to a positive direction.
Oh, I love it. Great answer too, by the way. Great answer. And did you decide to go to college at all?
I did. I first started off with taking courses at Fayetteville Tech Community College.
Okay.
And then at that point, I decided to transfer to the best college, which is North Carolina A&T State University.
That's right.
Yes.
Worldwide.
So great experience there.
Sure.
And a lot of life lessons
Of course.
that I went through.
I understand.
And I also actually was an athletic trainer for North Carolina A&T.
Were you
And
really?
that also allowed me to be on their competition squad during the MEAC during that time.
I understand.
And it was a very great experience.
You did some coaching? Cheerleaders or just...
I was the trainer as far as just helping the athletes. I helped with football,
Sure.
track, baseball. I did one game as far as just being the trainer there, but just a wonderful opportunity. Sometimes even if a program is not started, you still got to kind of jump out there and ask questions and try to put yourself involved. And it allowed me to be a part of, a student athletic training team that wasn't even really developed at that time.
I love it. And you were able to tackle it and be okay with it.
Yeah,
right?
And then move on to help the cheerleaders. Since I had that experience,
Sure.
I was able to be a part of that team, which allowed me to, just be in the mix of great athletes.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's great. You were able to do some cross training while you were there and make it happen. And you also had a joy of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back a little bit. You said something a few minutes ago about going to technical school. I want to ask you if you could kind of speak to that, because I know some folks won't take that route. I went to technical school too for a short spell, and I'm going to go back. But if you would, can you speak to going to, you said Fayetteville Tech, right? Could you speak to going to a technical school and what were some of the things that you were able to benefit from before actually going to a full-fledged 4-year college? What was that like?
Honestly, I started going to the community college my senior year. So I was actually, I know it's a thing now where a lot of students can start taking college courses.
Yeah.
But during that time, I was applying for schools and I wasn't getting into, due to my SAT scores, I'm not a good test taker.
It's okay.
So,
most of us are not. Yeah,
so
most of us are not.
I was, I was trying to, and I think the right school will come along for, you.
Sure
But I was trying to get into some of the schools that my brother was getting into and applying for a lot of PWIs. But like I said, with the tests, the SAT and stuff like that, I wasn't really good at. So I decided to start taking classes at Fayetteville Tech.
Okay, yeah.
And I started just taking, I think it was psychology, and it was another course. I also eventually took classes at Fayetteville State.
Okay.
But
understand.
Just getting those courses underneath your belt and knowing that that's not your final destination.
That's right.
And it's just a stepping stone to whatever goal that you want to reach.
Yeah.
Everybody's path is not a 4-way college, and starting off, their freshman year at a 4-year college.
Yeah.
So after applying to multiple colleges, and I got into Bennett, Shaw, Johnson C. Smith, all the private schools. However, my parents were like, those schools are expensive. And no, ma'am, you're not going to go there.
Sure.
So after my first semester, I decided to drive up here to Greensboro, and I literally went into the door, applied at the schools, did all the paperwork myself. And I always say my friends were telling me about their college experience. And so that really put me in a place of, you can still go to a 4-year college. You can still have that college experience, but you may have to do something different.
That's right.
And I always say, I try to do things differently. And so that allowed me to just being on a different path and just knowing how I had to push and go just a different route, and it was okay.
Yeah,
and I still graduated.
Exactly.
I still went to the 4-year college. I still, just had my own path. I can't follow everybody else's path.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience.
That's good. And those classes that you took, they were able to transfer over to the...
Absolutely. So you just need to make sure. And then and it was good to be at home for like that one semester. Everybody else went off to college, and I still went and visited my friends at Spelman and at Bennett. And And so it allowed me to see their college experience
Sure.
and then really make my mind to say, is this going to be something that I want to experience, or should I check out other options?
Yeah,
And
I love that.
I'm so glad I did, because
love
I
that.
love A&T.
Yeah, absolutely. Great school.
Great.
Great. It really is. And I love homecoming. I
Yes.
love
absolutely.
homecoming. Yeah. So you graduated from college and you begin on your path. Was your path first entrepreneurship?
No, actually, I kind of want to take it back a little bit.
Okay, come on.
As far as when I was in college, I actually had the pleasure of becoming a mom.
Talk that. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yes.
I love it.
I had the pleasure to have my first child my junior year. And during that process, actually was the start of Sincerely Emotional.
Sure.
And so,
And I don't mean to cut you off, but you know what I love? There's something that you said that I absolutely love. You said you had the wonderful pleasure of having your children during your junior year of college.
oh, absolutely.
That beautifully said. You don't always hear that from folks. So if you would, number one, that speaks to who you are and what you do, number one. Number two, if you would, can you speak to that for a moment and stay there right there, and then we'll move forward. I want to speak to the statement that you made a few minutes ago when you said the wonderful pleasure of having my first child. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
As my mother says, me having my first child made me grow up. And so me having my son, his name is Jalil, and with me just going through that experience of, just the process of getting pregnant, as far as just and making decisions, making real, true life decisions.
Sure.
It just, that right there built me to the person I am today.
Absolutely.
Going through motherhood from start to even now, he's 22 years old now,
Gotcha.
and that's the pleasure of it too.
Yeah.
He's good and grown, but it's just, going through, and at that time, he was the only child in my friend group. So everyone
Understood.
I had so much help. I had a lot of people who loved on him as they loved on me.
Sure.
I remember coming back and visiting, the cheerleading coaches and the cheerleading teams and the women even at A&T that helped me through the process of, just speaking into my life.
Sure.
One of the young ladies who, Miss Taylor.
Okay.
She was a secretary for the English department. I mean, she kind of switched around, but she was a main person in my life who helped me schedule different things, but I was always able to come back and visit her with my son. And, it's so many different women who just helped me out through that process, other women who were mothers.
Yeah.
And so it allowed me to see them instilling, positivity in me as a student, as a mother, as a young woman.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's why it was so positive.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful. Those women poured into you, and you needed that in order to finish. And you finished college, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is
bringing him to class and everything.
Come on.
I did.
Come on.
I did. I brought him to class. I remember I had a evening class, and I know a lot of things are on social media. You see, some of those things now.
Yeah.
But before social media was a thing, there was some of us come to the library.
Yeah.
I have friends who brought their child to the library.
Sure.
I brought my son to class. Just working with other people to come up with structures. Hey, I have a class, or hey, I may have to work. Do you mind watching him? And just people being so open.
Yeah.
And that helped me develop not only relationships and friendships, but family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, they became your family. So you had a great support system surrounded around you. And I think that's so important when something like that happens. And even if that didn't happen, it's just good to have that type of support system surrounded around you whenever you're doing something, when you're on a journey like that, because college ain't no joke.
Right.
College is no joke. It's a lot of challenges that come with that, a lot of discipline that comes with being a full-term college student, and then you say you're going to add a child into that. Ooh, you had to do a lot of communication.
Yes, I had, great parents, great siblings, great friends who just, and great study groups too, because there's times where in chemistry, no, not chemistry, anatomy and physiology.
Sure.
I had to get in those study groups, and and I wasn't the only one. There was other moms that I met, and we would work together, and we would babysit for each other.
Yeah.
Where I'm still friends with them today.
Sure.
One woman is my daughter's godmother.
Wow.
But just our boys grew up together and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. That's exciting to hear when people are able to accomplish a goal. But sometimes we leave out the adversity. Sometimes we leave out a tumultuous journey. That the path, that somebody takes in order to get to where they are. So you graduate, you got your children. Is it just one?
It was just one at that time.
Okay, so you have your...
At that time.
I was going to say, this story going to be golden. I expect a book out of this. Maybe, though. You never know. So so finally you graduate from college.
Yes.
You finally graduate. Now you're a mother. You're going... full-fledged, it's adulthood.
Yeah, and
in it.
At that time, I decided to move.
Oh.
I left North Carolina.
Did you really?
I did. I moved to Florida.
Oh God, Florida.
Yeah,
just to get away for a while.
Just to get away.
And you probably needed it, though.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. A change of environment, change of scenery, new friends.
Everybody was kind of against it, with me being a young mom.
Yeah.
In those situations, there's always a story behind it. So,
Sure,
yes, I wanted to get away, but there was, a love interest at the time.
Absolutely.
And but even with that, there's other things that can kind of push you in so many different directions. My oldest brother, I remember him saying that there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
And so to stay in North Carolina, just know that there's a whole world out there.
Absolutely.
And so with me moving to Florida and then knowing you could come back.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing stopping you from coming back. So
none at all.
I decided to up and move. I transferred with my job at the time, and and just being a mom and working, like you said, out there in the world.
Yeah. But you did that. Though. So you made your way back. You went to Florida. When did you decide that, hey, I'm going back to North Carolina? When did you make that decision?
I made that decision. At the time, I just wanted to be closer to family.
I respect that.
The relationship ended. But at that time, I also, in the 3 years that I was there, I bought a condo. And, just still pushing forward to, the group of women or the group of friends that I had, everybody was buying houses at around 25 years old. And I said, if they could do it, why can't I? So I also bought my first property at the age of 25.
Come on, man.
And just thank you.
No, that's to be celebrated.
And it wasn't easy because my background now is financial literacy, and I didn't know anything about financial literacy. So in college, I got myself into a lot of debt, and then afterwards, I got myself out of that debt. But it was a life lesson I had to go through and learn. But yes, during that time, with me buying the condo and just being in, at first I moved to Tampa, and then I moved to Jacksonville.
Okay.
And my son was about to be in school. So he was he was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So at that time I decided, the support of my family is important to me.
Sure.
And so I wanted to be a little bit closer to home.
Yeah, yeah.
And plus, my son was the only grandchild on the East Coast. So, my parents always loved to spend time with my son.
Absolutely. I think that's amazing. You're an amazing individual, and you find your way back here to North Carolina. You have this wealth of information and knowledge that you bringing back to North Carolina. Financial literacy. You bought your first property. Like, you just come back just like this total different person, right? This new person. This reinvention of joy. And now you bring that back. And did you decide you were going to start your Sincerely Emotionally then?
No.
Okay.
Once again, I feel like, as my friends would say, I was in love with love. I saw what my parents had as far as just being in the 2-parent household, and I wanted that for my son. And so I got involved in a relationship, again. I got married. And Sincerely Emotional, like I said, the name came from back in college.
Okay, got you.
With my son's father.
So that was the birth. That was the birthplace.
The name.
Understood. Okay, gotcha.
And with the name, I forgot about the name.
Wow.
I forgot about the name.
Okay.
I forgot about, the process of what I was doing when I was pregnant with my son. I used to just write whenever I was happy, whenever I was sad. I would just write in a composition notebook.
Sure.
And that's where, and I named it Sincerely Emotional. Because my name is an emotion. My name is Joy.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
So then just going through marriage, and marriage is tough and can be hard. And, I was speaking with my son's father at the time, and, and we were co-parenting. We're always co-parenting,
Sure.
Great partner to co-parent with my son. And he's the one who brought it up. He was like, why don't you do something with Sincerely Emotional? And I feel like God will put people in your place, in your area, in your space, to give you messages.
Yes.
And so with him bringing that back, and I was like, you remember that? Like, it really blew my mind that he remembered something that I used to do and write to help my, mental health. Because that's what it was. It was really helping my mental health.
That's right.
And at that time, I started writing again. I started writing. I don't really like to say poetry at that time because I was just writing my thoughts and my feelings.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't even writing words. It was just like doodling on a piece of paper just to get whatever out at the time.
You know what I love, though? The fact that you were writing it down. I don't claim to be this theologian, and I don't claim to be this super religious person, but, the scripture tells us to write the vision down, make it plain. And I'm paraphrasing upon tablets, of course, paper, but so you were actually writing your vision down at that time. It's a lot of power in that joy. You know what I'm saying? To see where it has flourished and what it has become now. It's become this full-fledged engine. And you made reference to your name, Joy. You're right. It's an emotion that we all should really have. My oldest daughter, her name is Faith. So I get, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Joy. I love it. I love it. You have so many different areas of life that you could speak to, though, that could really benefit not just women, but I think men too.
Absolutely.
Although you do speak to women, you also, I think you could have something in there, a nugget or two in there that men could flourish from too.
Absolutely.
Yes. You do. I think you do. So would you say this would be how the inspiration of becoming a health and wellness coach came about?
I would say that would be...
That was the beginning journey of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Just to, really focus on self-care.
Yeah.
And just like you said, putting stuff down on paper and getting it out.
Yeah.
That is like the key thing of just all of our health.
That's right. That's
We
right.
don't want to bottle things up and hold our emotions because one day it will explode.
Yes.
And so it's really good to just, put it down, and it's so funny because sometimes I'll grab a composition notebook, write stuff down, and I was cleaning out the garage and I just found it and it said Sincerely Emotional. I was reading it and I was like, wow. I was wondering what I was going through, or just writing it down and seeing what the business is now. Yeah. And something that I just wrote about like 2 years ago.
That's right.
I was like, wow, it really came,
to fruition. Yeah. I think that's beautiful. And I think most entrepreneurs, I would say most of us, some people are just action automatically. They just go ahead and do it if you have the capital. But if you don't have the capital to do it, then a lot of times you do write them down. I totally agree with you. I'm on the same vein with you with that, because I remember when me and my wife, we started writing the vision down for what I'm doing now. And so when you look back at it, you're right. You just sit back and you're like, wow, I have done everything I said I was going to do. And it's amazing to go back and look at those old notes to the point you want to frame them.
Right.
It's almost like you want to frame them because it's really telling a story of your journey and how you got started. And I think that's so important. Could you speak to folks, if you would, then we'll get back into the conversation. Could you speak to staying focused on your vision and not quitting, even if you don't have all of the resources that you need?
I would say your circle. Your circle is so vital because when you do feel like giving up, your circle will be there to remind you. I have a mentor, Mr. Ray. He has a business called OHOP, and it's a Christian-based, others helping others prosper.
Okay, cool.
And so I met him only a few times, literally in person, but I told him, hey, I'm thinking about starting, a business called, Sincerely Emotional, a little bit about it. And anytime that he didn't see me post, or anytime that he felt like I was, falling off a little bit, he was like, hey, what's up? What's up with the business? And just kind of keeping me in check as far as that. Also, when I first came out with this shirt that I have on, that I love her, she is me, that talks about self-care and self-love.
Sure.
A coworker, she ended up, saying, hey, I want to order like 12 shirts for a trip for me and my nieces.
I love it.
And I was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
You want to do what? Like, that was my first order.
I love it.
And I was blown away. But the support of, even when you are not ready, people are like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Where's my shirt at?
Where's my shirt at? Yeah.
I'm ready to place an
order.
order.
And you just make it happen.
Yes.
And you did.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
So just your circle, and then also writing it down. I have vision boards. I have so many vision boards that I keep. I have some personal.
It's okay.
I have personal.
They won't see it.
I have personal as well as business vision boards.
Yeah.
And I just continue to add to it.
Sure.
And
I love that you keep adding to it. Yeah, because it does change.
It's a growth process.
That's right. That's right.
And even if you don't make, something at that time, make one of your goals on your vision board.
Sure.
It will eventually, as you continue to work on it, it will happen.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, and I'm glad you spoke to that, because I know a lot of times people will get started and then they'll quit, because it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy, because you're trying to figure out, well, how I'm going to do this? How am I going to get this over here? How can I see this happening? I don't even know how I'm going to get this. And then all of a sudden, people will quit before it actually starts. There used to be this saying that I used to hear from one of the elders in my family. They used to say, when I ride past the graveyard, you might have heard it too. It's a lot of dreams and goals and businesses and millionaires and billionaires over there in that grave. They never got a chance to even start, or they didn't finish.
Right.
Great mind, brilliant person, but they never just got started, So just when you think about that alone, that's wild, right? How many people quit in a day? On what it is that they wanted to do, or they never just got started.
Right.
So I thank you for taking time to speak to that. If you could, How do you, Joy, stay updated on the latest health and wellness trends and research? Or is that something you just don't even worry about? You stick to your brand and who you are when it comes to that? Or do you, outsource?
Well, I want to be an example. And so with me being an example, and that is, as far as health, I try to maintain my health as much as possible, try to walk, try to go to the gym.
Gotcha.
Not only do I want to be an example for my family, I want to be an example for the community. So I would say, sometimes I would get involved in some of the trends. However, you have to find out what works for you.
Yes.
And my main thing is it starts with your mind. And that's what Sincerely Emotional is about, as far as having that positive mindset.
Yeah.
And regardless if you decide to anything when it comes to health and wellness, when it starts with your mind and you are in a positive place, and even when you're in a negative place, sometimes you have to, figure out, okay, if I'm in this negative space, how can I make it positive? Because life is not about my world is about flowers and hearts and, great things like that. I mean, that would be perfect. However, life happens. What they say, life be lifing.
Right. Yeah.
And so, when things do have you down, you take that moment to, go through your emotion, but also figure out how it can be. How can you put yourself in a positive position after, you dealt with whatever situation that you're dealing with?
I got you.
But being an example when it comes to like a positive mindset, I have a lot of friends who tell me, you always look at things different.
Sure.
I really do, because life is, you only have really one life to live.
Got.
And so life is about making the best of it.
Yeah.
And so my best is being positive. The Lord named me Joy for a reason. And so, and my parents, they have a whole story about my name. And so as far as that, I'm here to, just be a joy in the world. I mean, I can't be any other way.
Yeah, that's the only way to be. I love it. I heard you speaking about having a negative mindset. Well, I tell you, I have a positive mindset about a lot of things. Girl, but if I could just put down some pizza and some burger, I ain't got no positive mindset when it comes to that, Joy. Just being transparent, but I'm positive about everything else but that.
Yeah.
So when I hear a person like yourself talk about it, it's like, man, I'm actually a happy person, but Lord have mercy, I wish I had the discipline that I used to have. But something you said a few minutes ago that stuck to that, just joking around a little bit, but the mindset piece. Can you talk about people who want to get to a certain weight or want to lose weight, and they could be the most positive person in the world, but that's one area in their life they haven't quite tackled yet all the way, if you would. And they're not letting themselves go, but they haven't tackled it quite yet. Can you speak to that person that may be struggling with that part of their life when it comes to tackling that portion of their life, when it comes to the health person, that health portion of their life? They could be drinking water, eating salads, but they're missing it somewhere in there.
I would say consistency and discipline are the main things as far as just in no matter what you're dealing with. Discipline and consistency. Even with that, life still happens. I was vegetarian for 4 years.
Were you really? Wow.
And
what was that like?
It was good all the way up until the pandemic. And then everybody got comfortable. People weren't walking around. And I mean, even with myself, I gained weight because I wanted to remain full, but I was eating the wrong things as far as I wasn't eating meat, but I was eating starchy things. And but as I said, I did a YouTube thing on my own page.
Okay.
And basically, you know, you have to make sure before doing anything, they always say consult with your doctor.
Sure.
You know, so you want to make sure that you have that relationship with your doctor, but also you want to make sure that you advocate for yourself.
I love it.
So
love that.
That is key. And then, you know, try to build yourself around a good group of people. And I always keep saying this because, you know, your circle is so important. It really is, because we cannot live in this world by ourselves. That's why God gave Adam Eve, because we need someone.
Yeah.
But we just have to, you know, figure out what makes us happy.
Sure.
You know, I'm a person who likes to exercise. However, I don't like to dance when I exercise because I feel like I'm off rhythm. So that is not my ministry. However, and then even when it comes to running, I'm a slow runner. I'm a turtle. So I've done a half marathon before.
Okay.
But will I do one ever again? I don't think so. But, you know, it's you know, it's setting certain goals.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put certain goals in front of you, even if it's like, hey, I'm going on vacation. You know, in the next 2 months, I'm going to really cut out, you know, sodas. Or I'm going to, actually, I try to do it in a more positive way instead of cutting out certain things.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm just going to add more of this, more salads or certain things to my diet versus... You know, yes, it's okay to probably have pizza every now and then. They just don't want you to have it every day.
No, you can't.
You know,
have it
or
every day,
you know, you could just take away the bun off of the hamburger and eat it that way.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it really, you just have to find what works for you.
I got you. Yeah,
and I mean, I'm still a person who, you know, works every day to try to, you know, maintain myself.
Listen. You know, I was joking around. That really was an honest, you know, very transparent question because, you know, you can have everything going, and then I'm ex-military, so it's like, you know what to do, Joy, but it's like, man, I'm not finna go out there and run 5 miles. I did that, you know, so many years in the military. I'm not finna do that. I was made to do that. You know, it's kind of like what you think in your mind, but you actually can see where it was beneficial for you, though.
Right.
Really, because you were able to work throughout the whole day without being tired. You had a lot of energy throughout the day. And your diet, I mean, shoot, everything you ate, you burned it off. Really, though, Joy. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that was, I'm glad you answered that. But I also love the transparency at the end when you say, hey, listen, I'm just like everybody else. And I think that's what's missing out of, maybe not out of it, but a few may not have that implemented in the human aspect to being a health and wellness coach. Look, I struggle too. It's just I've become disciplined to overcome a lot of those things that may be, you know, poking at me to cause me to spiral down to get back into those old habits. So I appreciate that. I think that's wonderful. So it's something that just popped up on here for me. How do you incorporate mental and emotional well-being into your coaching practices? And you might have hit it a little bit, but if you could you go even deeper with that, if you would?
So as far as how do I provide mental...
Yeah, how do you incorporate it? Yeah, throughout what you're doing, because really the basis of it is that. Right.
So with Sincerely Emotional, it is just always trying to stay positive and having the positive affirmations. So even with my brand, it's to help women heal from emotional hardships through positive affirmations, to help them heal, grow, and evolve. And so with that, I've come up with several different sayings or slogans that I put on different items. So I have the shirt, I have the earrings, because sometimes I may not be able to wear my shirt all the time, but I could throw on a pair of earrings and it's still giving that positive message. And then not only for me when I look in the mirror, but when I walk and other people see my earrings, they're complimenting me or complimenting my shirt. Or I have other items that say strength comes from healing. And so that is a positive message. And I've given that shirt to, you know, several people
Sure.
due to that. Well, let me go back.
Sure,
That saying
sure.
came from I had a nephew who passed away from leukemia when he was 12.
Okay.
And so just looking at my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece, and how they continue to move through life.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're not healed from that situation, but each and every day strength comes from healing. So each step
Sure.
that they continue to live for my nephew and the way we remember my nephew
Yeah.
is positive.
Sure.
And so, no matter what you're going through, if it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or financial,
Yeah.
Strength comes from healing. You have to heal before you become stronger.
I love it.
And so just having those messages relate to people in their situations. I also have another shirt that says no, but inside the no, it has the word love. And that means there's a lot of love in the word no. So sometimes you have to say no to protect yourself. And no is not a negative word. It could be a positive word. And when you say no, there's a period at the end on my shirt that says there's no explanation needed. You could just say no.
You can just say no. I love that. And
So just having that type of positivity as far as those messages are key to a person's mental health.
oh, I love it. Can you talk a little bit about nutrition too, and how all that plays a part too with you approaching health and wellness as well? Could you talk a little bit about that if you would?
As far as nutrition, it's like I said, it's just really important to consult with your doctor first,
Gotcha.
always.
Gotcha.
And then you have to find what works for you, because like you said, it's so many times we'll get started
Yeah.
and then we'll stop. So that consistency and that discipline may not be there. However, if you find the things that you like to do, or the things that you like to eat, you know, and just making sure that you put what you need to do in front of you. This morning I got up and I walked the dog. I made a smoothie this morning because I have to make changes or do certain things in my life and be consistent, but I can't have all the snacks and stuff around. And it's hard. Even with my 13-year-old, she'll have, her brownies and different things. And like I said, every now and then it might be okay, but
I know what you mean.
you have to, just surround yourself not only with good people, but with the good fruits and vegetables, seeded things.
Okay.
You just want to just really make sure that you get the best product within your body, because when you feel good and you putting the right things in your body, you're not sluggish. And then also, like, for me, it's mental too, because once you might take that craving and, I'm gonna eat this piece of cake or whatever, but then afterwards you may feel bad as far as your mental. So you just want to really focus on, hey, I'm going to constantly try to focus on what makes me feel good, and eventually it'll make you look good. And then as far as you're in your mind, it'll put positivity in your mind.
I love it. Thank you for answering that. And here recently you went to Atlanta. I want you to talk a little bit about your experience in Atlanta. We spoke candidly, real quickly through text about you going down for this great opportunity in Atlanta. If you would, can you kind of talk about that and tell us what that was like for you and the event that you were a part of, which is a big deal, by the way.
Yes. So my trip to Atlanta was, it was something that I really had on my vision board. There's two particular women that I have followed since the beginning as far as their journey, African-American women who have done great things in their community as well as for their brand. And so I had the wonderful opportunity to be a part of the American Sesh. And so American Sesh, the CEO of American Sesh is the CEO of Slutty Vegan, which is Pinky Cole. And I had the opportunity to be a vendor at her American session. And so it was a great experience. And honestly, I was laying in the bed, scrolling through my phone, and I saw one of her sessions, and I said, they got vendors at American Sesh? Didn't know that. And so started doing a little bit more research and scrolling and saw that you had to send an email.
Sure.
I developed an email right then and there.
Of course.
Submitted it. 2 days later, I got a confirmation. And when I say I was hollering, screaming, shaking, and so excited
you should.
that I was accepted to be a part of that wonderful event.
I love it.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And so just going down there to being able to network with other businesses. She had 2 sessions the day I went in February.
Okay.
And it was just a lot of great people, a lot of great information, and just a wonderful opportunity to be a part of that. And that was truly, like I said, on my vision board to see a young entrepreneur like herself reach the levels that she has.
Sure.
I feel like in a short period of time, but just watching her journey has been amazing, and to be a part of her journey has been just as amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're proud of you over on this end here. We're proud of you. Congratulations again for that. I know that was a big deal. That was a highlight. Like, we spoke a little bit about it, so I definitely wanted to bring it up and kind of talk about that journey. And I'm sure you probably was just on cloud 9, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way to heaven, you know? At that moment,
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, even when you have doubts in yourself, just go for it.
Just go for it. That's right.
Even last year, I had a huge opportunity with the other young lady that I've been following. And the crazy story about that is in 2019, I had on my vision board that I wanted to go see the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And so my daughter's spring break, we went and we saw the Smithsonian and did visiting. And then we visited this young lady's spice suite.
Okay.
And so when we went to go visit, we bought spices and everything.
Yeah.
And back in 2023, well, actually, was it 2023? I believe it was January of 2023. She started she built her own strip mall.
Okay.
So she, and it's called Black and Forth.
I love it.
And so even with that opportunity, I visited her in 2019.
Yeah.
And I was a vendor in 2023.
Come on.
In her space.
Yeah.
And hopefully, this summer I'm hoping to be a vendor again. But just go for it. Even when you get a no the first time. The first time I wasn't, accepted, but then I picked a different date and then I was accepted that day, and I was able to network with these women. So just continue to push and go forward. And even when you hear the word no, that's not no stopping you from doing it. That's right. might be no, not right now.
Not right now.
But your opportunity will come.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm glad you shared that with us. Those are 2 great opportunities for you. And, you're going to continue to do great things. I believe that, you know what I'm saying? Just based off of what, are you doing some public speaking too as well to add to that?
That is
okay. So that means you should be.
That is in the near future. I have actually some meetings tonight through Zoom to set some stuff up.
I love it.
But then hopefully I'll have my documentary coming out sometime this year to just kind of tell my story about Sincerely Emotional.
And that's a great way. That's great advertising, great marketing for everything that you're doing. I'm telling you, this has been a wonderful conversation speaking with you today too, Joy. I'm going to ask you a few words that I read to your bio. It's on your bio, but I want you kind of to elaborate a little bit on these words, just a little bit, as best as you can.
Okay.
But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you what they mean to you and the choice of words that you use, okay? The first word that I ran across was power of self-expression. Could you talk a little bit about that? I have 5 words that I'm going to read out to you, okay? So that's the first one.
The power of self-expression is, my motto is write what you feel and wear what feels right. So no matter if it's you writing positive things, negative things, but the power of just what you speak, what you write down, what you think is so important. And then you just really want to try to keep it positive because self-expression, when I came up as far as what's sincerely emotional, I'm not the person who writes the grammar, like the English major, you know.
I understand.
And so just self-expression is really about just getting it out and just really putting your feelings down on paper.
Yeah.
And so just having that positive, that positive but powerful self-expression is key to just how you think and how you live life.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. The next word. You know what? I'm going to skip around. I had them in order. I'm going to skip around. Growth.
Growth. Ooh. Growth is, you know, something that we should strive for every day.
Yeah.
We're all like a plant. You know, we want to just put the nutrients in our bodies. We want to put the nutrients on our mind. We want to just have the ability to continue to grow, like move forward and just,
right.
you know, just be, if you're not growing, you're dying. And so you have to continue to grow, no matter if it's, you know, self, you definitely self first.
Sure.
And then, you know, building relationships with others.
Yes.
And it's just so key. So growth is just, you know, something that I want to be example of. And also, like I said, be an example for my children as well.
Okay, the next one is healing.
Healing is, when I think about that, I always come back to strength comes from healing. Because even with healing, when you lift weights and you want to become stronger, your body literally your muscles break down. And so when your muscles break down, it has to go through a healing process. And that's when you're going to become stronger. So just the fact of going through that process, you know, everything is not going to look, you know, great all the time. You may have to go through a process of breaking down some certain things in your life to grow and heal.
I love it. Okay, confidence.
Confidence is not about how you look. It's within of how you feel.
Yes.
It's in your thought process. You know, so many people who are the most beautiful people, you know, could walk around and just be so beautiful, but they don't have the confidence within themselves.
That's right.
And so confidence is just, you know, and when I kind of laugh because I think about my daughter. My daughter has so much confidence in her. And but since she was little, I used to always say to her, like, who's the pretty girl? And, you know, just building her up.
That's
and
right. That's
just,
right.
you know, letting her know, you know, no matter if whoever calls you whatever.
That's right.
You be confident within yourself and know that I'm always telling you you're smart, you're beautiful, you're kind, you're loving, you know, and just having those words, that is confidence within a person. And, you know, being able to just pour that within to her, but I have to pour it in myself too.
Sure you do.
So, you know, just having that is just, it's key. Confidence is key.
It really is key. You know, you were talking about that, and then I'll give you the last word, and then we'll close out. My mom, when we were growing up, used to put sticky notes like on the bathroom, on the bathroom mirror whenever we would walk in. It for me and my brother, it was you're handsome, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're strong. Know who you are. You are somebody. Of course, in my sister's room, it was something different. You know, but she would have them throughout the entire house where they, listen, dinner's inside the refrigerator. And, you know, I love you guys. Make sure you get your schoolwork done. You guys are so smart and so intelligent. You guys will do some great things one day. You know, those things are key as we empower the next generation as well as adults. You need to tell adults that too. because sometimes we as adults, we need it too, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
We need that too. So thank you for sharing that little piece about confidence. That definitely is a confidence builder. And the last one, I think, is missing out of our society today. Even though we say it's still there, we're missing it, and that's love. If you could speak to love.
I can't say enough about love. That is my favorite word. I would say besides my name, love is it. Because love is so powerful. And people use it so loosely.
We do.
So, just you want to really focus in on the things that you love.
Yeah.
And really analyze, what does love truly, truly mean to you? To say, I love myself is you really have to believe it. You really have to
That's right.
live on it. You really have to, just, hey, if you love yourself, do what's best for yourself.
Yeah.
And that word, I mean, it's so many different ways that I'm like looking at it, because it's really a word that you really want to value. And it's to say, like, I love it's so fun because I'm thinking about, like, I love my parents, I love my siblings, I love my children, those people you really love, to be in a situation. Yeah, I love ice cream. Not really, because I mean I could go without ice cream, but right. But like the things that you really care for and you really you really don't want to go without. But you really have to analyze that word, and you can't use it so loosely. It's just so important. And it's important to also, like, with this shirt, to tell yourself, I love you. Because like even when I explain the shirt to different females, I'm like, how many times we look in the mirror and I said, how many times are we so quick to tell someone else I love you, but how many times do we look in the mirror and tell ourselves? Because we don't tell ourselves we love ourselves enough.
Need to.
And and then even for the men folk, we know, we love, we want y'all to feel that love too.
Absolutely.
And so another shirt that I came up for the men, because they were like, well, where's our shirt at?
Right.
And so with the men, I said, I am proud of the man I am. And so, I mean, just having those words are key, but just analyzing that word love it's so many different ways that I could speak about it, break it down in so many different ways. I don't know. That might be a whole nother podcast.
We'll invite you on again just to talk about the word love.
Yeah.
Because you could actually talk about love all day long.
Yes,
you really could.
Yes.
There's so many areas that humans can love. It's just it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, Joy, I thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us today here on the Ross Cloud Podcast. This has totally been a great interview, and it totally made me feel joyful.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, you are very, very welcome. And, in closing, I like for our guests to say a little something positive to those who may be listening. Anything that comes straight off the top of your head that you can think of to say something positive that could empower somebody, so they won't quit and they'll keep going. I'll let you take a little bit of that time to say so, and then also tell the folks how they can get in contact with you and how they can follow you on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff before closing out.
Okay. I would say I really want to kind of go back to the word love, and just love yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you love yourself, you would do the best things for yourself.
Yeah.
And so, I'm kind of go back to, because I heard a pastor say, you know, a scripture, and it was talking about love and loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and you have to love yourself first.
Yeah, you do.
Before you love others.
Oh, it's so true.
So just loving yourself is just important.
It's very important. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, once again, my name is Joy Easterling. You can find me on social media under Sincerely Emotional. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. Also, you can find my website at www.sincerelyemotional.com. You could just, check out certain things. I have new things coming out very soon for the summertime.
Yeah.
And
where's the next place you're going to be set up at?
See, I really have been just focused on just kind of community.
Okay.
So I will be doing certain things within the community. However, I don't have any vending events set up. However, I do have my merchandise at several locations here in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Come on,
and so
about it.
That would be at Fiber Space, downtown Greensboro, and also at Tribe Thrift. Off of Friendly Street. Right. So if you want to find some of my merchandise, you could definitely check out those two locations.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll be able to branch out and be in different cities eventually as well.
Come on, we're going to speak it. It is
Absolutely.
so. It is so.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it very much. Joy, thank you so much. Oh, my God. This was just a great interview. I knew it would be from the time we started chatting and everything, and I looked at your page, and you're just a wonderful light that needs to be in our community. And from the Ross Cloud podcast, very proud of you and very happy for what you are showing in our community that can happen if you stay focused. And thank you for being just a little corner of the salt in the earth that's so needed in this world that we live in on today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Joy. Listen, this is the Ross Cloud podcast. I'm your host, Chris Ross. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.
Today's episode of the Ross Cloud podcast is sponsored in part by GospelStationCharts.com, where you can view gospel radio station song charts and track the promotion of your song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit GospelStationCharts.com.